So the current state that we just completed, the next steps would be having discussions, doing several different type of brainstorming techniques, coming up with ideas, revisiting a parking lot you have on the side, if you have any ideas that popped up on the way during this process. Okay? And then after that, you start considering what does future state look like. When you start discussing what does future state look like, you start incorporating these ideas that you had in your discussions and your brainstorming techniques. And you start looking, how can we change this? Now, if this was a process that was, say, in a bakery instead of an Amish kitchen with one person doing it, one thing you can do is make swimming lanes. And essentially what that is that you have these very faint lines going across the entire paper, and in each lane, it represents, most of the time, it could be a different division or a different group or a different person. So if we're in a bakery, let's say we have one person who they are the inventory managers, and that's all they do. And someone else, their operations, they actually do all the mixing and cooking. And let's say you have a person who all they do is to ensure that the temperature in the ovens are maintained. And so every time there's a step that has to do with, perhaps the first lane is that inventory person, the shipping clerk, whatever that position is, every step that they do participate in the process, you make sure it's in their lane. In the second lane, let's say it's the operations person, every step that they do, it goes in their lane. What you have is a process map that does go up and down, but the actual step is in the proper lane of whoever is doing that step. Okay? And this is a different way of going about doing the process mapping to give you a better visual of who's all participating in the process. One thing to remember about process mapping, it has to be intentional. When you process map, you're deciding, okay, we're going to look at this process, we're going to do continuous improvement, and then when we get down to the current state, are you doing this to improve time? Are you doing this to improve quality? Are you doing this for both? Are you doing this because you have no idea of what's going on? It's not even documented. So perhaps you're just doing this because you need it documented. Looking at this current state, what do you think are critical points that affect quality the most? Well, if we're trying to improve quality and we don't appreciate the complaints we're getting, what are some things perhaps we can think of? And we don't have to change anything right now. We're just looking at this. But let's get some ideas going. What can we improve to actually either have our quality consistent, or what are some things we can do to perhaps improve it? Are there any techniques you guys have done in the past or thought of that you can look at this and say, you know what, perhaps we can try this or try that? Or perhaps just figuring out where are these ingredients coming from, and is there any way to ensure that it's high quality all the time? So we can looking at how we measure to make sure it's consistent. Looking at the order, the sequence, to make sure it's the same every time. Do we know what the proper sequence should be right now? Or is that something we need to look at and perhaps try it different ways? So these are all excellent ideas. So what we'd do from here is that we'd write all these down and we explore them, and perhaps we have little sub-teams that look into it further. Perhaps we have a sub-team that looks at the quality of the ingredients of time and date. Like, okay, can we come up with a system to ensure we know how old everything is that we use? Perhaps we need a dating system. Perhaps we need some better inventory software that alerts us a day before inventory goes bad. Okay? And so when it comes to brainstorming and the discussion we're having, you track these, you investigate them, and that's part of the process of making your future state, which would be next.